Unit 1.7. This is where we use all the things we've learned from Unit 1.1 all the way through Unit 1.6. We use all the things we know about lines, rays, points, and angles. And we know all the things we learned about angle relationships to find the missing angles. Sometimes it's going to ask you to find the total, which means you add angles together. And sometimes it's going to ask you to find a missing angle, which means that you subtract. But you need to use all the tricks we've learned so far, right? I'll show you what I mean. Make sure you use all the information you are given and everything we've learned up to this point. All right, so number one, tells us that this is 112 degrees and then asks us what x is. What do we know about angles across from each other? They're vertical angles, which means they're equal, they're congruent. If this is 112, this has to be 112. Use what you know to find the missing information, right? Alright, this one is 124 degrees, and we're looking for this one. Together, they make a straight line, which means they have to total 180. We're missing an angle, so we're going to subtract. 180 minus 124 is going to give us 56. So x has to be 56 degrees. And if you don't put the degree symbol, it's wrong. All right, let's get a little more complicated. That's a lot of information. Let's see what we can figure out. This one is 72, which means this one has to be 72 because they're vertical angles. This one has the box, which means it has to be 90 degrees. This one has the box, which means the box exists invisibly over here. So if this plus this has to equal 90, then this has to be 18 degrees. You see how we're doing this? This has to equal 180 because they're supplementary angles. So we need 180 minus 72. What's that going to give us? 108? Use your calculators, people. 108 degrees. So now we can answer this. We know that x equals 108 degrees, y equals 72 degrees, and z equals 18 degrees. Right? We used what they gave us, the 72 and the little square, and we used what we knew. We knew that the little square meant 90 degrees, and we knew that this is a vertical angle, which means they both have to be 72. We combined their knowledge and our knowledge to find the answers. Let's see. 7. Angle A and angle B are complementary angles. If the measure of angle A is 42, find the measure of angle B. All right, so what do we know about complementary angles? They have to add up to 90 degrees. So let's draw it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to add up to 90 degrees, right? The measure of angle A is 42. Find the measure of angle B. This is our question. It's missing an angle. We know the total has to be 90, so we're going to subtract. What is that, 48? right? So we know that angle B is 48 degrees. My sketch is not great for this problem, but it made sense in my head and helps me sort and organize my information, right? If you can do it without the angle, then great. But until you have some practice, it might be really smart to either use their angle and label it, or create your own angle and label it, okay? Angle 1 and 2 form a linear pair. So we know that they're going to make a straight line. Linear pairs have to be adjacent and supplementary, right? So it looks like one is larger than the other, so let's guesstimate. Let's say this one is 113 degrees. What's this one? This is our question. We're missing an angle, but we know the total. The total has to be 180. 113 is what they give us. So that's going to be 180 minus 113. 180 minus 120 is 60. 120 minus 13 is 7. So 67. So it says find the measure of angle 2. So your answer, angle 2, equals 67 degrees. You need to start getting in the habit of boxing or circling your answer. That way I know this is your final answer. This is showing your work. This is your final answer. All right? You can also do this using algebra. Right? So instead of just using basic numbers, now we're going to create equations. Use the angles. Write on them. All right? So let's see. 11. Let's just do 2 of these so you can see that it works. Let's go just a little smaller, just to read it. All right, it says, if AB is perpendicular to CD, the measure of angle DCE is 7x plus 2, and the measure of ECB is x plus 8. Find the measure of DCE. So what we're missing is find the measure of DCE. Let's see if we can make it big enough to do it without making it disappear. Find the measure, okay, let's use this, of DCE. All the directions are there. First, look at what they gave you. They gave you the angles to connect, to write on, to label. Now let's label. If AB, so if this is perpendicular to this, that means it creates a right angle. Go ahead and write your right angle. Right? If the measure of DCE, so now we're talking about this one, is 7x plus 2. And the measure of ECB is x plus 8. Write it all in the angles. It organizes the information. Help me, Jesus. Find the measure of DCE, right? And it wants this one. There's a couple of different ways you could do this. You know this is 90, and you know it has to all add up to give you 180. But you also know that these are complementary angles. These two have to add up to the 90 degrees. Right? Because if this is 90, this is 90. Which means this plus this has to equal 90. So you can write that. 7x plus 2 plus x plus 8 equals 90. Solve for x. That was rude. Whatever. I'll use another one. Combine your like terms. 8x plus 10 equals 90. Cancel your constant. 8x equals 80. Cancel your coefficients. X equals 10. Now we know that x equals 10, but it didn't ask for x. It asked for DCE, angle DCE, which is 7x plus 2. 7x plus 2. 7 times 10 plus 2, right? Now that we know that x is 10, we can replace x with 10. 70 plus 2. 72. So angle DCE equals 72 degrees. Don't forget the degree symbol. Don't forget to box it. One more. Let's do 15. Yeah, I like it. We have more space to work with. All right. Angle P and angle Q are supplementary angles. What do we know about supplementary? They're adjacent and they total 180 degrees. If the measure of angle P is 4x plus 1 and the measure of Q 9x minus 3, find the measure of Q, the measure of angle Q. So we know it has to total a straight line, right, because it's supplementary. We don't know if it's a big angle, a little angle, or anything in between. All we know is that when you add them together, they're going to equal 180. So just draw something so that you can visualize, right? Let's call this P, and that's 4x plus 1. And let's call this Q, right? So 9x minus 3. We have the angles. We're looking for the total. The total is 180, right? So we're going to add this plus this has to equal 180. Combine your like terms. 13x, negative 2. Cancel your constant. 13x equals 182. What is 182 divided by 13? I think it's going to be 14 maybe? I could be wrong. 182 divided by 13. 14. How did I know that? Because I needed something to be 3 times something to give me 2. Which means it needed to be 3 times 4 to give me 12. See? So x is equal to 4. Did it ask for x? No, it asked for q, which is 9x minus 3. Now that we know what x is, we're going to replace it. 36 minus 3, 33. So we're looking for the measure of q. So the measure of angle q is 33 degrees. Don't forget the degree symbol. Don't forget to box it. All right, you work on the even ones. Come and ask me for help if you need it. Watch another video if you need the help. And when you're ready, when you're confident, when you are 100, come and get the mastery check. Before you come get the mastery check, put your Chromebook away. You can use the calculator. You cannot use the Chromebook on a mastery check. You got this.